Our brand new GeForce RTX 50 series Blackwell architecture. The GPU is just a beast. 92 billion transistors, 4,000 TOPS, 4 petaflops of AI, 3 times higher than the last generation Ada. And we need all of it to generate those pixels that I showed you.
$1 trillion sell-off for tech stocks on Wall Street yesterday. They plunged after a Chinese-owned startup company called DeepSeek claimed to have a startling new advance in artificial intelligence. Do we believe this Chinese company's claim? And if we do, how different is their model from what the U.S. is doing?
Well, that's sort of the big thing. Are they being truthful? Basically, if you believe them, they've built a better, cheaper chatbot that uses less energy. So analysts are looking at this. They're saying it's nearly as good as ChatGPT from OpenAI, but it can actually explain its reasoning before it gives you the answer. The big thing is DeepSeek is saying that this costs less than $6 million to make. You compare that to $100 million to $1 billion for the comparable U.S. models, and it's also more energy efficient. It used just about 2,000 chips versus tens of thousands. But to your point, if you believe them.
So instead of using the fancy U.S.-made NVIDIA chips, they used whatever they were able to get. So is that why there was this big sell-off in the market?
Exactly. This really calls into question the American chip makers' dominance. NVIDIA lost nearly $600 billion. That was the single biggest loss for a stock in a day in history.
Wow.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it when I heard that number.
Exactly. And also think about this. Meta, all of these other companies, they're investing hundreds of billions of dollars in data centers. If you believe DeepSeek, these companies should be able to do that for far less money, and that's scary.
Somebody was asking me to make like an update on the stock market watch. So as you saw, we basically had $1 trillion basically shaved off of the stock market because of DeepSeek. So what that ultimately led to, as she just explained, was you basically had a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that China showed this DeepSeek thing was basically like a cheaper, more efficient AI model. And it was a knee-jerk reaction because, and I've said this so many times, most of these investors in AI, most of them don't even understand exactly what they're investing in. They think it sounds like the big new thing, and they just rushed into it with their money. They didn't know exactly where to put their money, but because NVIDIA was the big name, everybody said, okay, yeah, I got to buy NVIDIA. Now, I had been buying NVIDIA and AMD specifically because I understood that, they make video game parts. I had no idea that other investors were going to rush into NVIDIA and suddenly propel the stock into the multi-trillion-dollar range. As far as I know, right now, as you can see, NVIDIA is worth $3.057 trillion, and Apple is worth 3.492. Now, had it not been for this DeepSeek sell-off, right now NVIDIA would still be worth more than Apple. In fact, I believe NVIDIA was worth more than Apple or Microsoft right before this DeepSeek sell-off. So now here you are, you're faced with a bunch of trillion-dollar corporations. As you can see, Tesla is worth $1.21 trillion. And all of them, and I've said this 100 times, all of them are, how should I say, they're kind of codependent on each other. You see, NVIDIA makes graphic card processors, GPUs. Now, as you saw in the video where I went to go get the 5090, the RTX 5090, you got all these dumbass kids with these credit cards waiting out in the cold. And they're waiting so that they could buy either the 5090 or the 5080. The 5090 was $2,000. The 5080 was $1,000. Now, the interesting thing to me was that after the dust cleared and everybody actually realized that, they weren't going to be able to get the card that they wanted, because really most of them came and they were willing to put $2,000 on a credit card. But what the stores did, and I guess you could say NVIDIA and the stores did this, they pulled the wool over these people's eyes. And it really reminded me of the 2000 series card launch. I'm not going to go too deep into this because some of you have no idea what I'm talking about. Long story short, people came because they wanted to try to get their hands on the $2,000 5090 card. Even if they had to put it on a credit card, they weren't worried about it because they could just as easily turn around and sell it on the eBay or on the open market. And they'd be able to easily recoup their money for it because they knew that there was going to be a scarcity of supply. What ended up happening was Micro Center, Best Buy, all of them had very low inventories of those NVIDIA cards. And when I say low inventories, you've got like 10, 20, 30, 40 people waiting outside. In some cases, in some states, you had 80, 90, 100 people waiting outside. Problem is, you only had 4 or 5 cards in the store. In California, I think the most cards that they had in store, I think it was only in the high 60s. I think it was like 70 cards in the store. And they only had 70 5090s, but they had like 200 5080s, right? Thing about it is regular stores like nearby me, there are about, 5 Micro Centers near me. They had lines of people lined up, but each store only had fewer than 7 cards, just 7. And you've got all of these people waiting online, and there's just 7 cards. Now, as far as the 5080, my guess is what they did was they pulled the wool over these dudes' eyes, and they said, you know what, we don't have that many of the one that they want. But since most of them have camped out and they're going to leave disappointed, what we'll do is we'll push the 5080 on them. And since they won't want to leave empty-handed, so this way they can run home and post pictures of the fact that they just spent $1,000 on a card, and meanwhile all the other people who are on their social media won't be able to get anything since the inventory's dried up. What we'll do is we'll push these other cards on them, and then they'll buy it, and they'll just have to make do with what they got. Unfortunately, the problem is the 5080 card is nowhere near as powerful as the 5090 card. And the 5080 is also not as powerful as the outgoing 4090 series because the 4090 had way more memory. So you have 24 gigabytes of memory in the 4090. You got 16 gigabytes of memory in the 5080. And the problem is the 4090, simply because it had a lot more memory, it outperforms the 5080. So that means that if you're coming off of the old top card, you're better off just sticking with that if you can't get the 5090, which comes with 32 gigabytes worth of RAM. And the only people this matter to are ultimately, there are some people who do use these things for graphic work and, actually making money. But there are a lot of these kids that just have it because they need to have it because of FOMO. So basically, you got all these lonely incel boys at home. These boys have never smelt the cat. And they're not dating, they're not taking these women out anywhere. So they just ran out and spent $1,000 to play their video games in 4K. Meanwhile, Valentine's Day is coming up, and they ain't taking no women out on no dates at all. So now you're going to have the women complaining that these dudes ain't taking them out on dates. It's so sad. It's so sad. So the bottom line is, NVIDIA is that's like the engine on the train. NVIDIA is pulling this entire train. What DeepSeek basically did was it disturbed the engine. It's like in one of them Steven Seagal movies where somebody rigs the train to keep on rolling and there's nobody driving the train. DeepSeek disturbed the train. DeepSeek did not stop the train, but DeepSeek did throw like a monkey wrench into the train's engine. Simple fact is, DeepSeek is just software. DeepSeek is not NVIDIA. DeepSeek does not make hardware. So wherein you've got all of these dudes lined up to drop $2,000 or $1,000 on one of these damn video game cards. DeepSeek doesn't have anything even remotely like that. They just don't have it. They don't have hardware. So I say all of that to say these investors don't understand the product, nor do they understand what they're investing in. So when they heard DeepSeek, all of a sudden they pushed the sell button and they got scared. So they took $1 trillion off of the stock market. Now, my NVIDIA holdings went down about a little more than $11,000. NVIDIA's price is back up now, so a lot of my money has been recouped, and I'm not really worried about it because my gains in NVIDIA have been so high. The same could also be said. It suffered losses with AMD. I suffered losses with, I believe, TSM. I think even Microsoft and Apple were down, but now they're back up. So the thing about it is I don't panic. I don't panic sell, but this DeepSeek thing threw the entire market off. You had a damn near, what was it, $1 trillion sold off instantaneously. So I don't panic sell. And I try to warn other people. Like I talk to guys at work and I try to warn them. I'm like, yo, guys, buy the stock and hold it. Do not panic sell. Just don't panic sell. I know a lot of people panic sold Tesla. I was like, yeah, just don't panic sell. I know you hate Elon Musk and blah, blah, blah. And Tesla's been doing pretty well. You know, it's bobbing and weaving above 400, but it's always basically done that. As even pre-split, it always did the same exact thing. But once you hold, and that stock first crossed over $300, I was like, yeah, the sky's the limit. And from 300, it rapidly went up to $1,000. And then after that, they did their first split. And then after that, they did a second split. I believe they only did 2. I could be wrong. They could have done 3 because it's been a long time and so much has happened. I can't even remember off the top of my head. But I just held. The only stock I sold off, I sold when I wanted to buy a house, for one. And other than that, like I've had some sell-offs with CTIC, Cell Therapeutics. That was a stock I told you about a while ago. And CTIC got purchased by another company, so they paid me the money for buying out the stock. So they basically just bought me out, and that was it. I don't even know whatever happened to whatever that company became because I really didn't follow it. But bottom line is they bought me out, and I got the money, and I was fine because it was a decent gain from where I was. I've been basically just saying the same exact thing. Buy dividend-paying stocks and hold them. That's it. When you buy dividend-paying stocks and you hold them, it pays you a small dividend back. And if you have enough shares, that dividend continues to grow until it's large enough where it's significant. So when you get that dividend payment, you don't take that money and waste it. What you do is you take that money and reinvest it into more stock. So if you buy more dividend stock, then that continues to grow your annual dividend payout. Now, I understand it's slow and it's not as fanciful as thinking that you're going to hit lotto or that if you buy some crypto coins, like I was looking at Trump coin, this fucking guy, in addition to like driving people nuts with all of the stuff that he's doing, like driving these left-wing lunatics nuts, this guy started a goddamn cryptocurrency. And if I'm not mistaken, he has one for himself and he has one for Melania. Like I was trying to look it up. But on Coinbase, it shows the value and everything. But it's like, you know, it's just crazy what's happening now, like with people putting money into certain things. Like, but hey, listen, you know, people can put money in whatever they want. The only thing about it is there's no fucking way in hell that I'd be investing in a Trump coin cryptocurrency. No way. I won't invest in regular cryptocurrency. The only cryptocurrency I own is from 2018, when we were like Tron, Ripple, Bitcoin, and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I understand that Bitcoin has risen. It's also fallen below $100,000 a couple of times. The thing about it is I get way more enjoyment out of my dividend-paying stock because it pays me and then I can buy more. And that's just how I feel about it. Like, imagine having something that doesn't earn any money. It only gains in value. But now you can't sell it because you're worried that if it gains in value more, that you'll beat yourself over the head for selling it. You can't, the only thing you can do is hold it. You can't sell it. With dividend paying stock, you can hold them and they pay you some money from the profits that get given back to you. So that's just how I justify that. Now, as you can see, a large percentage of the market is still relatively down and hasn't recovered. I'm not worried about that. All you have to do is hold and just allow time to just pass. That's all you really have to do. It's very simple. Just about every one of these tech splits I've bought into, and it just hold, and that's it. Stellantis is down at $12.93. They've been trying to keep their head above $13, but they're so far down from where they were. They were at $25 or something. I wonder how many of those companies are going to last for the next 2 years while they're trying to right the ship. I really don't know, but time will tell. And then you have, the Berkshires. They're doing just fine, $709,000. They've been higher, but they're doing just fine. What else? Ripple's under $3. I'm disappointed. I thought it was going to keep on going. The problem is with Ripple, God knows how long it's going to take for Ripple to really significantly gain. Because the thing about it is most crypto, the majority of the value of all crypto is actually in Bitcoin. So from the last time I had heard the statistic, I think they said Bitcoin holds more than 50% of all the value of all cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin alone is worth more than 50% of all the money that's in cryptocurrency. And, in order for Ripple to make serious gains, it would have to become more like Bitcoin or even Ethereum, because it's like Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. Those were basically the original three. And ever since then, I haven't really seen any other one perform anything even remotely like those three. But because they're so old, people trust them. People keep pouring money into them. So God knows with Ripple. I mean, I'm just going to let the Ripple that I have just sit, and I ain't touching it. I'm just going to hold. Not going to do nothing with it. Dogecoin hasn't done shit except go down. This was supposed to be Elon's baby, Doge. That shit has gone absolutely nowhere from the moment that they brought that asshole out on Saturday Night Live. It was supposed to hit it. It was supposed to hit new highs, and it never happened. In fact, since that point, it's basically only went down. It was like there was a massive sell-off. As soon as Elon Musk got on there and started stuttering and started laughing, and it was like that shit went through the fucking toilet. Now, Tesla has performed okay because Tesla, Elon Musk, Tesla, Starlink, and SpaceX, it's almost all wrapped up in the Tesla stock. So it's like when you buy one, you're basically buying the others. Now, I don't know if they're going to spin off SpaceX or spin off, Starlink or whatever. I doubt they will, but if they ever spun off Starlink, that would probably be worth buying because that's a powerful network and it's growing. But Elon Musk, it's like every single time he gets a chance to say some shit, it's like he does such a great job of alienating potential Tesla buyers. It's just remarkable. But that's just where it is. I don't know what to say. That's just where it is. So what is Coinbase? Oh, okay. I see Coinbase is finally getting back. The 52-week high on Coinbase was $349. It looks like Coinbase is finally getting back to where it was when it started, I guess. Because when it started, that shit was like a pump and dump scheme. And anybody who was how should I say, patient enough to keep their money there and just hold it, well, it hasn't gone to the moon, but at least if you're lucky, you might have been able to cash out what you initially put in. Maybe, I don't know. Anything else? I don't know. It's like some of these companies, have been threatened with lawsuits because some of these people are angry because these companies have said fuck DEI and all that. And I've already expressed the way I feel about it. As far as I'm concerned, DEI is like a cute way of saying affirmative action. And to call people affirmative action hirees, affirmative action has benefited white women and LGBTers way more than it's benefited black men. And the reality is I've never benefited from it. So as far as I'm concerned, I could care less if they get rid of it. Because the way I feel about it, people who have talents and skill, that should be the only measurement about whether or not you get the job. And the reality is, even most companies and most corporations, they don't really practice racism because all they're looking for is people who can do the job. They don't care about race, gender, ethnicity. They don't care about any of that. They want you to do the job and they want you to represent them while doing it. But the thing about it is, it's like, if you're talented and skilled, you're going to get the job anyway. You know, either you'll get it with one company or you'll get it with the next company, because obviously you can do something that somebody else can't do. But if you have like nothing to offer, you can forget it. You're going to end up working at fucking Taco Bell or McDonald's or something. What else? Nothing else is really blowing my skirt up. Nothing else is really performing. I wouldn't buy any of these Chinese stocks. Speaking of DeepSeek, right now, I really wouldn't be buying any Chinese stocks, because with Trump in office and with Trump talking tariffs and this, that, and other, just saying shit like that can send everything in a tailspin downwards. It's like, I wouldn't be buying any of those Chinese stocks. There are some foreign dividend paying stocks that might be worth buying. But as far as Chinese stocks, I can't trust that market right now. Like, I suffered minor losses in the Chinese market. Everything was going just fine, and then COVID came along, and all of a sudden COVID wiped that shit clean. And it's Alibaba is one of them. I could have never imagined that buying Alibaba when I did, it was going to see over $300, because I bought it when it was like $86. But once COVID came along, wiped all of that shit out like I couldn't believe. Just couldn't believe it. The defense contractors, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, all of them for the most part paid dividends. And, I believe it was Eisenhower or Roosevelt. I think it was Eisenhower warned us about the military-industrial complex. Yeah, well, he was right. But the thing about it is, there's nothing you can really do about it, because now they're corporations and the taxpayer spends all this money on all these fucking jets. I was watching a video the other day. You got an F-35 falling out of the sky and crashing into the ground. It's just unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So the military-industrial complex is going to win no matter what. So there's not really, whether you invest or not, they're gonna keep on winning. The easiest way, I just believe, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, the easiest way to get dividends is just to buy banks. And look at these banks. And this is what anybody who follows me knows that I keep saying the same shit. Banks, oil, credit cards. Now, I added credit cards, but I've always said banks and oil. Credit cards are technically banks. Look at these banks. If you bought these banks, especially during the economic crash, you're way up, especially if you bought JP Morgan or Capital One. And I've said the same thing. All of these banks, the real banks, I'm not talking about the bullshit, them little banks that you have in your community where nobody knows these banks if you were to say the name. I'm talking about the multinational huge banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs. If you had bought these things, you're in the green. You're almost always in the green. And what did I say about credit cards? Americans are addicted to credit cards. I rolled so much money into these four: Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. Just those. Americans are addicted to credit cards. Every time one of you assholes goes out and you buy one of the video cards for $2,000, guess who you're paying? You're paying me. You're not paying Jensen Huang. You're not paying Amazon. You're paying me. That's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get them dividends. Americans are addicted to credit cards. Every time one of these women goes out and buys some bullshit she don't need, mascara, fake hair, a BBL, how's she paying for it? She's paying for it on credit. Americans are addicted to credit cards. I looked at my portfolio where I'd bought credit card stock. All of them are positive, all of them. And then when I really think about it, this country is $36 trillion in debt. Student loans are piling on to these kids, piling on. None of them can afford a house. They're probably never going to be able to buy houses, most of them. Rent, like these people are paying more for rent than I'm paying for a house. It's just incredible. Americans are addicted to credit cards. Right now, I think a carton of eggs is like $18. Like just buying eggs. Supposedly they had to kill all the chickens because the chickens got sick or whatever. A carton of eggs is damn near $20. That's just insane. How do you think they paying for this stuff? They ain't paying for this shit in cash. They paying for this with credit cards, yo. Americans are addicted to credit cards. If you have no portfolio at all, and let's say, because we got tax returns coming up, right? Now, I'm going to take my tax return and I'm going to divvy it up. I'm going to put some money into some home improvements. I'm going to put a little bit of money into the stock market. And maybe I'll have fun with just a little bit of the money. But the bottom line is the money that I put in the stock market is going straight into credit cards. It's going straight into credit cards. At this point, I'm dollar cost averaging credit cards because they keep going up. When I bought Visa was like $100 and something. This shit is $349 now. MasterCard was like below $5. It was way below $5. It was like $300 or $200 or something. They just keep going up. So at this point, what I'm doing is dollar cost averaging. Now, you may have heard people like Stephen Graham talk about dollar cost averaging. Basically, in my opinion, dollar cost averaging means just keep pouring money into it. It doesn't, it's basically like, yeah, you buy one share, you buy one share here, you buy one share here, you buy one share here. Every time you get a paycheck, you put a little bit more of your money into it. If you can't afford that, you wait until you get larger paychecks or bonuses or whatever, you put some money into it. But the bottom line is, no matter what you put in, because this shit keeps going up, because the gains are positive, it doesn't matter what you put in. Whatever you put in is going to be worth more. So if you take $50 and the share is $300, but if you just put $50 in, your $50 is going to grow to $55 or $56. Americans are addicted to credit. They're about to release Nintendo Switch 2. How do you think these people are paying for Nintendo Switch 2? Please don't tell me you think they're paying for it with cash. This is not China. These people are not paying for shit in cash. They're not walking around with cash money. These people are paying on credit cards. And that's the bottom line. I can't think, what else are they releasing? Well, they already put out PlayStation 5 and they already put out Xbox. So those are two things I can't really think of. These people are buying air fryers. They're buying coffee makers. They buy everything they buy. Starbucks. Everything they buy is credit cards, man. And unlike me, they don't pay their bills off on time. I pay my credit card bill every single night. That's why I'm sitting here with an 850 credit score. Oh yeah, my credit's doing fine. I'm almost at 750. And I'm like, if you're at 750, your credit is not fine. No, that's below average. It's like you're not doing fine until you're 780 or above. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. These people are addicted to credit cards. They have no option. Egg prices are $18 a freaking carton. Gas prices are still up. Now, I'm waiting for Trump. Trump claimed that I'm going to get in there. I'm going to make gas prices low and everything. Well, I'm waiting to see it. Because gas prices are still high. Diesel is still $4 at the same gas station I pass every single day. It's $4.19 for diesel. I think it's like $3.80 or something, or $3.65 or whatever in the middle grade. Bottom line is, I need to see gas go below $2. See, if it was me and I was president, I would make friends with Venezuela. I don't give a shit about those people's free speech whatsoever. I would get into it. I'd make friends with Venezuela. Hey, guess what? We're going to take your gas and oil. We're going to sell you trinkets and shit that America makes. We're going to get you some credit cards. And you're going to give me gas and oil. And I'm going to stop your people from starving and trying to sneak into America. And this way, your girls and women won't have to sell themselves for a ham sandwich. And I'm going to make it so everything's going to be fine. All you got to do is give me all your oil, and we're going to refine it. I would make sure, but my platform would be making gas like less than $2 a gallon. But okay, Trump's in there. I'm waiting to see. So if he wants to show me something, the numbers don't lie. Let's see gas go back to $2 for premium unleaded. Let's see that happen. Once that happens, I'll be like, okay, yeah, this is greatest president ever. Greatest president ever. Now, as you know, I don't have to worry about gas because I got an electric car. So, everybody's worried about Elon Musk and how much power Elon Musk has. Bottom line is, if you're worried about that, just understand, no matter how bad the economy gets, if you have to get an electric car, yeah, you're going to get an electric car because you ain't got no choice. But if egg prices are $20 a carton, chances are you ain't going to be able to afford no gas because you need to be able to eat. So you probably should be looking at that new Tesla Model Y. I like the way it looks. It's pretty cool, but if you hate Elon, yeah, you're going to have a couple of problems affording it, and you're probably not going to want to spend your money on something that Elon Musk has made. But hey, it is what it is. I ain't worried about it. But I would like to see gas prices go down because it also means that home heating oil goes down. And that would be my platform. We're going to make home heating oil cheap again. Like he wants to make America great again. I want to make oil prices cheap again. That's what I want to do. I want to make it so you can actually afford eggs. Fucking $20 a carton. Shit's insane. Costco, oddly enough, Costco is like one of the cheapest places you can go get eggs. Like, eggs are so fucking high right now. They should have their own stock market ticker. That's how high they are. Eggs are probably worth more than NVIDIA. Like, that shit is crazy. I'd never seen, only during Biden's administration and Trump's current administration with this chicken bird flu bullshit, I've never freaking seen egg prices this high. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Now, I don't eat eggs like that, but I've just never seen it this high. And these people are buying eggs with a credit card. That is insane. But the bottom line is, if you don't have a portfolio, you need to buy credit cards. What is it? Visa is $349, MasterCard is $566, American Express $320, and Discover is $201. So if you add all these up, I would say that you could buy one share of each, and it'll be under $1,500, right? But let's say you have like $2,000. I would buy like 2 shares of Discover, 1 share of Visa, 1 share MasterCard, 1 share American Express, and just let it roll. So imagine you invest like $2,000 at a time into these things. Or if you have a large amount of money, you could invest evenly across these 4. So that's kind of diversifying to some extent. Even though it's all in credit cards, that's still technically diversifying. I would also buy banks if you could, because, I don't know your pockets. I have no idea how you invest. I have no idea how frequently you invest and everything. Me personally, I invest a little bit of money every single month when I get paid from YouTube. That makes it so that, I can buy 1 share here, 2 shares there, so forth and so on. And over time, that adds up considerably. But the bottom line is, that's where it's at, man. It's banks and credit cards. And I mean, you just look at it yourself. Even oil, the oil stock values are down right now because it's still winter. And they'll probably be right back up during summer. But the thing about it is, these banks are green all year round. Even when they look like they're going down, they're going up. That's where you need to be. That's where you need your money, especially if you want to have a dividend-paying portfolio. Now, the option is, okay, you can bet all your money on Trump coin. You can bet all your money on XRP and Bitcoin and Ethereum. Nobody's stopping you. But I know where I'm putting my money. So it's up to you. You do whatever you want to do. But I just want you to do me a favor. When you see me in business class on Air Tahiti and I'm sipping champagne and I'm flying over there to Bora Bora, when you see me doing that, please don't ask me how I afford it. Please don't ask me how I did it. Because it's almost insulting. It's almost insulting. It's like, that's the reason why I don't make these videos no more. It's because YouTube has basically killed the desire to make them with their bullshit algorithm and the games that they play with people's channels and whatnot, with the subscriber counts and the views and everything. This video will probably not even get 1,000 views. I could sit here and talk to the freaking phone. This video is probably not going to get 1,000 views. If I'm lucky, maybe it'll see a little bit more than 1,000 views. This video is not going to get many views. And I believe that the information is worthwhile, but it's not going to get more than 1,000 views because YouTube does not, they don't even let you know that the video was published. Like I was watching this dude's video a minute ago, and he was driving his Lamborghini Revuelto. So must be a rich guy. I forget what his channel's name is. But I'm watching this video, and this guy, he's driving a car. He's trashing it because he wasn't very happy with some of the features of the Revuelto. And I totally agreed with him. The thing about it is I never knew this guy's channel existed. The guy only has like 150,000 subs or 155,000 subs. I never even knew his channel existed because YouTube pushes the channels they want you to see, but they don't push the channels they don't want you to see. Not only that, it reminds me of that battle over net neutrality. What they should have called it was equal access to the internet. Because what you have is you have people who are throttling certain channels and forcing traffic in certain directions. I think they've tried to sue Google over that. Somebody should bring another lawsuit and another lawsuit and another lawsuit. And they should keep suing them because it's really not fair. Even though, it is their platform. The problem is they've been manipulating traffic on a grand scale. So basically, whenever you type up anything, it automatically goes right to YouTube. But the problem is it only goes to the channels they want it to go to. So somebody needs to do something about that shit. So at this point, I don't make videos like this as much as I used to because during COVID, it was really easy to spot, growing trends because everything was down. Now, you don't hear anybody talking like me. There's nobody who's... I couldn't copy anybody if I wanted to because there ain't nobody who talks like I do. There ain't nobody telling you to buy credit cards and fucking banks. Nobody. Either people are on the crypto bandwagon or they're telling you to buy tech stocks. Nobody's talking about banks and freaking credit cards. Nobody. Kathy Wood. I was just reading on MSN.com. I was reading Kathy Woods is betting on Broadcom, I believe it was. I told you about Broadcom. Broadcom's symbol is an AVGO. And I told you about them when they were doing the split. Kathy Wood, she's a terrible investor. Jim Cramer is a terrible investor. These people are reactionary. Like the old adage is you're supposed to buy on the rumor and sell on the fact. These people buy on the fact. Like I said, Jim Cramer don't know shit about no fucking NVIDIA. Jim Cramer don't know nothing about what NVIDIA does. You think Jim Cramer know what's in his computer? No. Jim Cramer don't know nothing about no... If you ask Jim Cramer about people buying NVIDIA, all he thinks it is just a stock. He has no idea you got people waiting out in the cold and camped out buying video cards. This guy doesn't know that shit. You think Kathy Woods knows anything about that? No. Kathy Woods was stupid enough to make a index fund and then include cryptocurrency in it. That's a dumb idea. You don't put a risk asset in there with dividend paying stocks. And she did the same thing with Tesla. Tesla's, it's sad because what Tesla needs to do is Tesla needs to pay a dividend. Because right now, all Tesla is a meme stock. That's basically it. Because as soon as Elon Musk starts goose stepping or starts hollering Hitler, as soon as he does that, the stock drops. So the whole thing's a joke. Do you know how many people I've had to explain what Doge is? It's like I tell people, yeah, Doge, Department of Government fucking Efficiency. No. Doge is a joke. It's a freaking coin. It's a joke meme coin. These old people, they don't know none of this shit. So when you have somebody like me, and I'm trying to explain this stuff to them, they think I'm crazy. But they don't understand what I'm telling them until it's like too late. It's like, okay, well, I guess you're not going on vacation. So I guess when I'm on that plane, when I'm getting on to that Japanese ANA, and I got champagne in one hand, and I got a young Japanese chick in the other, and you don't, and you're stuck here worried about whether or not Trump is going to take your Social Security from you, don't ask me how I did it. Just don't ask me, please, because it's insulting after a while. And I understand that you couldn't get the message because YouTube didn't allow you to get the message. Google didn't allow you to get the message. I understand that. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. All I can say is, you ain't going to hear nobody else talking like me. That's how I talk. This video is not even going to get that many views. I already know it because nobody shares these videos. Nobody really likes them. I mean, people like them, but they don't really, they don't grow. So, it's a shame. It's like I watch these Stephen Graham videos. Stephen Graham doesn't even do these videos no more. Simply because of YouTube and its algorithm. So even he got tired of it. So when you've got somebody like that, and you got somebody who's got over 3 million or 4 million subscribers, and even they get tired of this shit. Imagine how I feel, where I'm struggling. I'll probably never see 1 million, but I'm struggling just to get anywhere. I'm just struggling just to get the next 10,000 subs. And these guys got 4 and 5 million, and they're sick and tired of the bullshit. And he says it. I was watching Stephen Graham. I was watching Taylosive Tech. He's the Apple sheep guy. And they come out and they're saying, oh, yeah, these tech channels are dead. And I'm like, yeah, I totally understand. And then I'm watching these other dudes. The car YouTubing is dead. There's nothing to talk about, and there's no way for them to guarantee that they get a lot of views, especially if the algorithm is throttling their channels. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shame, but I'm not letting that get me down. Right now, if you were to look on my computer, right now, I got my tax details, all my tax information's together, getting ready to give my tax attorney my stuff and let him take care of the whole thing and work his magic. And YouTube, guess what? Well, thank you very much. YouTube, you throttled channels, you reduced the amount of revenue that everybody got. People made less money this year than they did last year, than they did the year before that. But guess what? At the end of the day, I'm still filing. That 1099, writing everything off. My 5090, you saw that GeForce 5090 I just got? That shit is a business expense. So when I'm sitting there playing Counter-Strike, that's a business expense. That's a home office expense. Oh, when you see me on the plane sipping champagne, flying to Bali or some shit, that's a business expense. Yeah, that's right. But that's all I got to say, because I tell you, at a certain point, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. And I know some people really like it when I make videos like this. But the problem is they discourage it. And that's just what it is. So, I don't know if net neutrality will ever come back around, because it sounds like that's been forgotten. It's like nobody even remembers what that was. But we're in a situation now where I think people get bad information. I don't think they get enough information to compare it to. And certain bad information is just allowed to thrive and pushed, while better information is basically just extinguished. That's the way I feel about it. So that's all I had to say. Happy weekend. We're almost to the weekend. And, Valentine's Day is coming up. I'll be waiting to watch and see what these women are saying on their social media channels about how men are not taking them out because they're broke after spending all their money on video game cards.
Zeth, Sun Bolano, truthless of Shinobar, wore white on the day he was to kill a king.